This is Redfeather from Grephaxs. In this video, we will be reviewing a Linux O A D featured game. This Linux O A D is so huge, I will try to focus on pertinent matters within the game in this review. There is no doubt in my mind why this is a Linux featured game. It is true to entice the hardcore gamer, but plan to have plenty of time on your hands or to use time management techniques. Notice the build, April 17th, 2016. I have used other builds and had ran into issues, but this build runs beautiful in Ubuntu 16.04 LTS of Linux. In this Linux featured game review of O A D, I started by highlighting different menus, and as you may have noticed, it puts up splash descriptive windows. Then in this Linux O A D review, I decided to jump right into the action and show you a save game. This particular battle took approximately 16 hours or more. In this Linux O A D review, I did use a speed up function in order to save time, but the caption does not do the game justice. It is a must-play game. The AI will keep you thinking. Once you have sunk your teeth into this Linux featured O A D game, every time you see shows like Game of Thrones or an ad for a show of this time, it will leave you wanting to play O A D. In previous builds of O A D, at the end of each game, you had the capability of continuing castle construction and troop formation movement. But in this build of O A D in Linux Ubuntu 16.04 LTS, those abilities are disabled. I feel it would be redundant to bring back this function. Nonetheless, it was fun even after 16 hours of O A D, allowing the troops to parade after a victorious moment. But as you can see from this Linux O A D game review, there have been changes and advancements. You can download O A D from your Ubuntu Software Center. If you click on Featured, you should notice the game at the top of the list. Also, in earlier builds of this Linux O A D featured game, there were periods of lag during large map gameplay, which I have seen very little of in this build. In this Linux O A D review, you may notice there is a list of 8 players, the bottom 7 being AI, and if you have played the game before, you may not have known these maps exist, as by default it starts out on skirmish, and the game is so enticing you just want to play. There are all types of 8-player maps in this Linux featured O A D game. The way to change this is by going to Map Type. The Scenario Type map in this Linux game review is a little different in the settings. It has a much more stringent rules, not allowing you to adjust cap settings. For example, in this Linux featured game review for O.A.D. In Skirmish or other map types, you can adjust your population and resource caps. In this game review, I would give this Linux O.A.D. game thumbs up. All the way. But do not take my word for it. Download the game and give it a whirl. This game entices and strengthens the mind, and there is so much more to this Linux O.A.D. featured game I have not touched upon. The pure size and fascination of this featured Linux O.A.D. game, as well as other workloads and lifelong goals and using time management techniques, had slowed my exploration of this build, even though I have been playing this build for approximately since the release. Things not discussed in this featured Linux O.A.D. game, but are not limited to, are the multiplayer functions and all the functionality of castle build and troop movement and strengths. This featured Linux O.A.D. is an open source free game to download and play. This game shows the pure essence of the strength and capability of open source. Each change from map type to speed and difficulty settings in this featured Linux O.A.D. game is sure to challenge the most hardcore gamer. But the question is, do you have what it takes? There you go, Mr. or Miss Hardcore Gamer. The challenge is out. Come challenge your capabilities in this powerful Linux featured O.A.D. game. I hope you have enjoyed this Linux O.A.D. game review. Please feel free to like and subscribe to our YouTube channel. And by all means, visit us at our website at http://grephaxs.com. The intro and extra to this video was provided by AlexAbayu1 from his YouTube channel. Thank you in advance. Have a nice day. I am out.